morning. Veronica is on standby for newspaper review.
All right, thank you, Ibrahim, for bringing us details in the world of business. It's time to take a look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio two gentlemen, Shijibomi Adeyemi Bennett, and we also have our regular here.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for coming on the show this morning. All right, so we head straight to the papers, and we'll start with the Daily Trust. We'll start with constituency projects. 2 trillion naira spent since 2000 without results. ICPC speaking there. And then we move on to the Vanguard newspaper. Insecurity, Alaafin writes Buhari blasts security chiefs, says security apparatus overstretched, rustic. 4 Turkish nationals kidnapped by 6-man gang in Kwara State. Christian Elders Forum urges governors to use Hisbah model for state police. I will move on to the Nation newspaper. Alaafin to Buhari arrests Nigeria's slide into anarchy. There's a quote from him saying, "What is strange is the new wave of criminally minded groups. What is again disappointing is the ease with which these criminals will leave our country should there be anarchy in the land. They have other places to return to, but Nigerians don't have another country apart from here." And then to the front page of the Nigerian News Direct, fake NYSC mobilization, ICPC to prosecute Vice Chancellors. On the front page of the Blueprint, Edo Bauchi Assembly crisis, APC National Working Committee moves against Obaseki. Bala insists on fresh inauguration. Reps move unconditional. Ajulo leave Obaseki alone, Uyegun tells Oshomole. While GOC under house arrest over stealing 400 million naira to be moved to Abuja for further questioning, Army keeps mum. To the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, Insecurity, Yoruba losing patience. Alaafin writes Buhari, says the killer herdsmen have taken over highways in southwest. Child security agencies for ambivalence. Nigeria in emergency situation. Buhari should address nation. Falana, Balarabe, Musa. And finally, on the front page of The Guardian, CBN to ban $1.2 billion yearly forex for milk, other dairy products, asks operators to invest in ranches as Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry urge caution. Ranching disruption to successful pastoralist model, says operators. All right, gentlemen. Perhaps we'll take a look at the reaction from the Alaafin here, where most newspaper headlines are taking that story this morning. I will be looking at it from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. He says, Yoruba losing patience, Alaafin writes Buhari. He says, killer herdsmen have taken over highways. And in another one of the papers this morning, he was saying that it seems Nigeria is slipping into anarchy. What do you make of this, gentlemen? I'll start with you. Dr. Kari.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it that Nigerian state is sliding towards anarchy based on incessant killings by these hoodlums. And let me quickly say here that with all intents and purposes, and based on what we have been seeing, those that have been arrested along the line, there are also some that are being perpetrated by non-herdsmen. Then when you're also talking about these herdsmen, I don't even see them as herdsmen. They are herdsmen turned hoodlums.
Really?
Yes, because I've had opportunities to even talk to some of these herdsmen, the real herdsmen, and I've even taken pictures with them.
Now, the challenge is knowing who the real herdsmen are and those who are acting as hoodlums, like you rightly pointed out.
These hoodlums are hiding under that canopy of being herdsmen. You know why? Because some of them are also Fulanis that had been able to pass through our Nigerian borders down here based on one thing or the other to cause mayhem. You see, we need to go into the nitty-gritty of the evolution of this particular scenario in our country before we now be able to know.
Before we go into the evolution, let's get Shirubomi's perspective, because before now, we used to have these people around us, and suddenly it's becoming a problem, so to speak, because while growing up, we used to see them moving around with their cattle, and we didn't have a challenge. And that's the essence of
the evolution.
So where did what changed? And that's the question.
We still have them around us, the normal, usual herdsmen. I had an experience 2 months ago. I have a small farm in my home state, and some of these people brought their cows and spoiled some things there. My farm tender was proactive enough. It didn't allow it to degenerate into any unpleasant scuffle. So the only thing he did is one ran away. He was able to pin the younger one down, collected the handset and their stick. I didn't even know that stick was so important to them. Maybe it's special.
Absolutely.
Because I just thought you could just cut another stick from anywhere and use. So, and at the end of the day, we reported to the police, and when it was settled amicably, they even said they were going to pay and all that. So we still have clashes. We still have normal, once in a while, issues between farmers and these normal herdsmen. But the challenge that we have is we don't really get into the root of situations. We just like the identity we've already and the cloak we've already given to these criminals. Because when you give a cloak to criminals, it sort of brings down the enormity of the crime or the punishment, the punitive measure that is supposed to be meted out to them. When kidnapping started, these people are criminals. Then, because kidnapping had a lesser punitive measure than armed robbery, so everybody was the same thing for 419. Criminals are criminals. So, and like you said, we've seen situations whereby there's so many videos on social media whereby we saw these people that are not.
But whichever way we look at it, this has to be addressed headlong.
You see, let me tell you why.
Now some persons are calling for the president to address the nation. Would that change
anything? It's difficult to address because all these things, when you look at it critically, the way I said, it's political.
How is
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this.
People are dying.
Yeah, listen to this. Listen to this. We've seen politicians, I mean, all these people, because when they were campaigning, and after winning elections, there is no way they could be able to collect all these arms and ammunition given to them back. And they now go to the streets, I mean, unleashing mayhem on the people. Now, you see, when we go to the evolution of this thing, we'll be able to know. And that is why it's difficult for anybody to have arrested any of them. That's why it's difficult for anybody to have punished any of them, because they know when they are being arrested and punished, they will talk.
A regional issue.
They will talk.
It's becoming a regional issue, but we know that insecurity has no color or tribe.
The thing is got to be, because they cannot stay alone in the north. They have to extend their tentacles, and that is exactly what they are doing now. It becomes so, so worrisome, because all these people now, they have now extended their tentacles. Why? Because somebody somewhere is not doing what he is supposed to do by arresting them. Because they know when they are being arrested and punished, some other people will blow the whistle, and they don't want this whistle blown. It's a big issue, and that's why I said Nigerians should come up and understand the evolutionary process of these so-called hoodlums.
From understanding the evolution, are you saying we'll then know how to address it?
Sure, because we know how these people went out of our country, from Niger, from Libya, from Futajalo Island. They will know who brought them in. By the time we are able to know who brought them in, then we know how to tackle it.
That's in the long term, don't you think?
It's not in the long term.
1,000
miles on the side of a solitary step.
In as much as that argument is tenable, I want to quickly say two things. Number one, people have been born into banditry, and they spent 15, 20 years doing banditry. If you look at the situation in Zamfara, it has really gone down. And on this platform, I said it before, that a CP in the south or a CP in the north central should not look at the situation in Zamfara and think this is not my jurisdiction. Because we've seen that it is going down in Zamfara, Sokoto and some other places are feeling it. Now it's getting to the south.
Yeah.
That is the first approach I want our security agencies to look at it, so that people running from all these places who don't have any other skill or who have not done any other thing in their life apart from banditry are not hiding under the cloak of herdsmen to perpetrate evil. The second thing I want to quickly talk about is it's good that our traditional leaders are talking. And if you know that the Alaafin is the one that even appointed and inducted the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò. So we have had a situation whereby our politicians have kept mute over this issue for a while. Now, what is the other tribes doing, their leaders? I read an interview of Senator Jibrin, who is Concerned Fulani leaders, the chairman. I loved what I read. So if the politicians amongst us cannot speak up, the religious leaders, the traditional leaders, let them speak up. It's good, but we should not stoke the tension too much. So we should take away the threats and let the leaders do what they're supposed to do. I mean the political leaders now. So it's a good thing.
Absolutely. Okay, Dr. Dayakayode Shijibomi Adebi Bennett, thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast. You're watching TVC Breakfast and we're streaming live on YouTube. You can connect with us on Twitter using the hashtag TVC Breakfast, still to come on the show. One of the basic needs of...
And it's time to take a look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers today. And I have with me in the studio Shijibomi Bennett. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and thank you so much for joining us as well.
My pleasure.
All right, so let's talk about the headlines this morning. The Daily Trust is saying here, constituency project, 2 trillion naira spent since 2000 without results, says ICPC. The Vanguard says insecurity, Alaafin rides Buhari, blasts security chiefs. Says here, security apparatus overstretched, rustic. 4 Turkish nationals kidnapped by 6-man gang in Kwara. Christian Elders Forum urges governors to use Hisbah model for state police. The Nation is saying Alaafin to Buhari, arrest Nigeria's slide to anarchy. And he says here, the writer, what is strange is the new wave of criminally minded groups. What is again disappointing is the ease with which these criminals will leave our country should there be anarchy in the land. They have other places to return to, but Nigerians don't have other country apart from here. That's according to the Alaafin. We move to Nigerian News Direct, where it says here, fake NYSC mobilization, ICPC to prosecute Vice Chancellors. The Blueprints is saying Edo Bauchi Assembly crisis, APC NWC moves against Obaseki. Bala insists on fresh inauguration. Reps move unconditional, says Ajulu. Leave Obaseki alone, Oyegun tells Oshomale. The Daily Sun is saying here, GOC under house arrest over stolen 400 million naira to be moved to Abuja for further questioning. Army keeps mum. The Nigerian Tribune says Yoruba insecurity, Yoruba losing patience. Alaafin tells Buhari, says killer herdsmen have taken over highways in southwest, charged security agencies for army villains. Nigeria in an emergency situation. Buhari should address nation, says Falana Balarabe Musa. And the Guardian says CBN to ban $1.2 billion yearly forex for milk, other dairy products. All right, that's it. Those are the papers this morning, and we will look at this that talked about constituency project. It says 2 trillion naira spent since 2000 without results. That's according to the ICPC. That's in the Daily Trust this morning. What's your take? 2 trillion naira spent since 2000 without results on constituency projects.
Yes, this consistency project issue has been on for a while. ICPC has always been reiterating it, and I think we should go beyond just talking about it and prosecuting the affected people, because we've had issues whereby even those constituency projects were traced to the local government that they were supposed to be. And like an issue that came up in the papers, that was last year, an ICT center in a constituency in Ogun State, and the ICPC got there. They didn't get the
center.
They didn't get the center. They were. I'm trying to remember the constituency now.
It was budgeted for.
It was budgeted for. Then they saw like a small shanty house and all that. So we all know what these constituency funds are for. It's just unfortunate that those are some of it's one of the bad policies incorporated into the National Assembly budget by the then president. So when that was 1999. So and it's not constitutional. So, but the National Assembly will always tell you they have their budget, and they determine how they spend their budget. So going forward, I think the ICPC should be firm on it. So if we can't do anything about it as of now, in terms of removing it from what should be in the National Assembly budget at all, then we have to be able to ensure that anything budgeted for is executed.
In the first place, are lawmakers supposed to have constituency projects? Is it important? I mean, they are supposed to represent us at the upper chamber and the lower chamber. Are they supposed to have constituency projects?
Yeah, the question I also ask you is there any relationship between making laws and executing project? But when you're talking of executing project, look at that word there, the qualifying word, executing. It's supposed for the executive, not the legislatures. So it's just a way whereby we fritter away our hard-earned money. 2 trillion. If that money is being injected into our economy, you know how much that one will fetch us? You know how much employment that one will create? Establishment of industries and all that. You see, I was discussing with an elderly man just now, and I was asking about how to curb insecurity. He was telling me that corruption is the mother of insecurity, which is the truth. And look at all this now. It is nothing but corruption. ICPC as an institution. Let us go back to the creating the laws that created ICPC. What are they supposed to do? Let them do their investigations and then make sure that they arrest those people that are having this money in their private pockets. But the moment you are not doing that, now the present legislators will be reading this. They will now be asking themselves, what did? Now the present legislators will be reading this. They will now be asking themselves, what has ICPC done to these people? Nothing. So they too will continue. So the moment you are not punishing nobody, the moment you are not holding anybody responsible, then they too will continue. So why can't ICPC go out, do the investigation, arrest who are supposed to be arrested, and then punish them? Then that one will serve as a deterrent to others. By so doing, we will be having this kind of a story again. It is appalling. It is sickening, discouraging
Really
in the kind of society we are now, whereby a lot of people are hungry, whereby you have a lot of university graduates, polytechnic graduates, unemployed,
so
roaming the streets.
If the ICPC is to prosecute those who have collected constituency projects, because, like he says, 2 trillion naira spent since 2000, what about the local government chairman who collects allocations for those same projects so that these are part of the things we are saying here. When you look at it, somebody frittered away our oil windfall in those days. What happened? Somebody spent money that is meant for NEPA, trillions of naira. What happened? So let ICPC and the EFCC, let them go out after these people, including local government chairmen, including councillors, all of them that are stealing our money. Let us start punishing them now, so that it will serve as deterrent to others. Without doing that, it's going to continue. Bennett, is that a possibility?
Yes, it's a possibility when we have the what's it called, the political will to do that.
Okay.
Because we have to scapegoat people, and we really need to make sure that we nip this in the bud. This thing is getting out of hand. 2 trillion is not something.
It's not small money.
It's not small money. So we really need to make sure that we stop this attitude. And like you said, this present National Assembly also, we want to see their budget. We want to see what they are going to put in consistency projects, because we know what the consistency projects are for. It's even a parallel. It's like now doing the responsibility of local governments or states. So you are awarding money for the same project, because the states are supposed to take care of some of these things. And what are those things? We've seen consistency projects in this country of people supplying wheelbarrows. Balls are even better. Machines. Wheelbarrows.
Billboard.
Even shoemakers kits. So transistor radios. So these are not empowerment. They're not in the 21st century. We shouldn't be talking about all these things. So we should find a way to stop it. Because even if we cannot collect or retrieve the money people have stolen, let us not continue this habit. Because to prevent is better than to recover this money.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Shijubimi Bennett, thank you so much. Dayo Kayode, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
It's time to take a look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio political technocrat, Dr. Dayo Kayode, and social commentator, Shijubimi Bennett. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the show. All right, we head straight to the papers now, and I start with the Daily Trust. Constituency projects, 2 trillion naira spent since 2000 without results, ICPC. To the front page of the Vanguard, Insecurity, Alaafin writes Buhari blasts security chips, says security apparatus overstretched, rustic. 4 Turkish nationals kidnapped by 6-man gang in Kwara State. Christian Elders Forum urges governors to use his model for state police. And to the front page of the Nation newspaper, Alaafin to Buhari arrests Nigeria's slide to anarchy. And here is a statement there from the Alaafin saying, what is strange is the new wave of criminally minded groups. What is again disappointing is the ease with which these criminals will leave our country should there be anarchy in the land. They have other places to return to, but Nigerians don't have another country apart from here. And to the front page of the Nigerian News Direct, fake NYSC mobilization, ICPC to prosecute Vice Chancellors. On the front page of the Blueprint, Edo-Bauchi Assembly crisis, APC National Working Committee moves against Obaseki Bala, insists on fresh inauguration, reps move unconditional, Ajulo, leave Obaseki alone, Uyegun tells Oshomali. Well, we'll be looking at that shortly. GOC under house arrest over stolen 400 million naira to be moved to Abuja for further questioning. Army keeps mum. And on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, Insecurity, Yoruba losing patience. Alaafin writes Buhari says killer herdsmen have taken over highways in southwest, chides security agencies for ambivalence. Nigeria in emergency situation, Buhari should address nation. And finally, on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, CBN to ban 1.2 billion yearly forex for milk, other dairy products, asks operators to invest in ranches as Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry urge caution. Ranching disruption to successful pastoralist model, says operators. Well, gentlemen, I'd like for us to look at the assembly crisis, the Edo-Bauchi assembly crisis, and it's on the front page of the Blueprint. And the story says the APC National Working Committee moves against Obaseki Bala. Well, it's insisting on fresh inauguration, and the reps are saying move is unconditional or unconstitutional. Anyway, gentlemen, I'm sure you have been following the crisis, that has been building up over the times now with the House of Assembly. State House of Assembly in Edo State, and as well as in Bauchi. Now we're seeing that the APC National Working Committee is making a move. Is it coming at the right time? I'll start with you, Shijibomi. You've been monitoring this, I believe.
Yes. I think the NWC allowed the issue to fester and is a bit late in the day.
Is it?
Yes, but because, you know, the issue has now escalated to a situation whereby it has become a national problem. So that's why it's on the headlines. So, but I think I can't really blame them because one of the gladiators is the chairman of the NWC. So,
but they are saying they have to, you know, separate him from this issue. That it has nothing to do with this.
But
that the focus should be on the real issue and not on the person of.
I understand. So
chairman.
I'm still coming to the real issue. I'm just trying to answer the question if coming now is too late in the day.
All right.
The real issue is the inauguration of the State House of Assembly.
Absolutely.
The chairman of the party, APC, Adams Oshomole, has his problems. Obaseki, the governor, is not a perfect man either. But on this issue, what is the rule of law? We should not be seen to take sides. I've seen so many commentators castigate the high-handedness of the former governor, which is okay. I don't have any issue with that. But the crux of the matter was that assembly properly inaugurated.
The answer is?
The answer to me is no. Because we have 3 reports, 6 p.m., 8 p.m., and 12 in the midnight. Irrespective of the one we choose to take. That is not a good, sorry, I said 6 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. and 12 p.m. Irrespective, everything happened in the night. And we don't have a house of assembly for cultists. It's an house of assembly for the Edo people. And I want to say, there will always be power tussle between gladiators or among gladiators in a political party. But the rule of law has to be followed. The governor of Ekiti State, Governor Fayemi, came twice to meet an assembly dominated, or even the second time, populated by the opposition party. And for 6 months, he managed them. Everybody wants their own, they want their own person to be buttered.
Yeah.
So what you're supposed to do as a governor, even if you can see an underbelly, an underhand in the situation of things, allow that person to be the speaker. And when
you are saying the governor is complicit in this.
Obviously. Because he was the one that was supposed to make the proclamation and he made it. And it wasn't clear. So people were taken out as intentionally. So I just expect, this is politics. Allow the speaker. Oshomole himself used 4 speakers. Who says in the next 2 or 3 months,
let's get Dr. Kayode's perspective to
see,
to
that is why I'm always saying and always being concerned about the epicureanistic and hedonistic tendencies of all these leaders. They're always looking at self, and self. The whole thing boils down to who controls power in that state. Oshomole brought in the present governor Obaseki, because I also followed the primaries in that state. I followed their primaries, and I knew how Obaseki emerged. We all followed it. But now, Obaseki is now telling Oshomole, look, I'm now the governor. I should be allowed to...
But isn't that what he's supposed to do?
No, listen to the... I'm only telling you the
history.
Yeah, the history of
all of
behind it. Now, mark you, Oyegun was the former chairman of APC before he was relieved, and Oshomole took over.
Absolutely.
Now, Oyegun wants to tell Oshomole, look, in this state, there is nothing you can do. But mark you also, in that assembly, the 3 of them
they also have their own people there.
Absolutely.
Okay? And being the governor, he wants a total control of that place. But in the final analysis, who is being affected? The people. That is one. Two, what does the Constitution say about inauguration? What does the Constitution say about inauguration? Mark you, we have also seen a situation whereby 6 out of 28 members of House of Assembly impeaching a governor.
But there has to be a resolution to all of
That's what I'm
this.
saying. That what does the Constitution
What would be
say?
the way
And then look
forward?
at National Assembly. What does also the Constitution says as regards National Assembly also having control over State Assembly?
What would be a resolution to all of this issue looking forward?
And that is where National Assembly is going. National Assembly is saying, look, there is a quagmire in that state. We have to move. And according to the Constitution, National Assembly can pass a resolution to also move to control that place. Because, I mean, that state cannot continue to be like that.
The people are suffering.
People are suffering. Now you cannot deal with budgeting activities. You cannot even deal with executive activities, because before you can do that, you got to take permission from the house to do certain things. You got to get their support. So it's not affecting
does
the
it threaten
people.
the party as well?
Yes, because the party is treading on dangerous grounds. So, but the only thing, because you asked the question that what's the solution? In everything, we should look at the bigger picture and the solution.
Yeah.
I believe if Obaseki listens to the voices of wisdom and doesn't look at the different factions, you know, advising him, he should do what the NWC, you know, advising him, he should do what the NWC says.
All right.
Have a fresh proclamation. There is still, the war is still on, and there are bigger battles ahead.
Let me ask you, can you make proclamation twice?
Sorry, excuse me. So the battle, you can lose this battle, but still win the war.
All right.
The war is in 2021.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for your contribution. Dr. Dayo Kaede and Shijibomi Adebi Bennett, thank you for coming.
Thank you
to
for
this
having me.
breakfast.